This is Gary Atanu with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. We are here at DELAFOTO. Since 2012, she has been portraying the elegant pet photography for the love that we have for our companions and our pets all across Denver. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's start off a little bit with yourself. French-born designer, artist. I've got to ask you, what came first, the passion for pets or the passion for photography?
Oh, that's hard to say because I've loved photography my whole life, but animals have been in my life as part of my family as well since I was a small child. When I had a chance to pursue portrait photography, I took a photo of my Sheltie, Casey Jones, and so that image is actually something that I look at every day and is a remembrance of him, and was a wonderful inspiration that kicked off this particular profession for me. So the two together have always been very important in my world.
Excellent. Let me ask you, pet owners out there, many times they refer to their pets as the king or queen of their home. So it's very fitting. They're looking for an elegant portrait. Is that what they're going to find here?
Yes, absolutely. Because I have a beautiful studio to work with, I'm able to create an ambiance for the photography that's a little different than the snapshots you might get outside of your pets. So I treat them like any other high-end portrait photography where someone might bring in a child and get a beautifully staged photo with professional lighting. I do the same for the animals.
Excellent. There must be a certain amount of patience that is one of the attributes that gives you the success that you have. Is that true?
Yes, there's patience. It's also my natural demeanor. I'm somewhat of a quiet, subdued person, so it's very helpful for the type of work I do. It doesn't get the dogs and cats too worked up, and so it's a very peaceful environment. And sometimes things go a little awry, but I spend most of my time helping my clients handle the situation, and animals are cool. They have no ego, so that makes it really nice, and I'll spend a lot of my time trying to educate and help the client get through the process with their pet.
Wonderful. As you referenced before, it's kind of like having a child because these are the children of these folks. School portraits are commonplace. Our kids get pictures taken every year, whereas our pets really don't. Do you feel that makes it even more special for them?
Yeah, for most of my clients, it's the first time they've experienced professional photography. So they come in often expecting it to be a kind of a stressful process, and when they leave, they're hugely impressed and surprised with how easy it was and how pleasant. And then when I get to present the final product and they're in tears because we've captured the special expression or moment with their pet, it's very meaningful for me.
Obviously, you're able to capture that pet alone for the owner, but what about a pet with the owner itself? Is that something that's pretty popular?
Not everybody does it, but I actually really want that. That capturing that moment and that connection is very important. So when people ask for that, I get excited about providing that particular portrait.
One of the aspects you're able to provide is a studio, which is great. Not a lot of the photographers do. Let's talk a little bit about your mini session as well as the classic session.
Sure. Mini session is an opportunity for people to experience the pet photography in a half hour. It's not overwhelming. It's a nice appetizer to kind of see what the process is like. And in that time, I can shoot 100 so images and present about 25 edited images for people to select from. So it's a great starting point, and unless I have someone who's trying to do a big family or multiple animals or something more elaborate, then I would recommend the standard studio session where for a full hour we get multiple backdrops, plenty more time, and a more developed session.
Wonderful. I imagine some temperaments of some of the animals maybe don't work great in a studio, or they're better out on location. Share with me your outdoor photography as well.
Yeah, so definitely in Colorado we're very fortunate to have some incredibly beautiful scenery to work with. So I do have sessions in large outdoor off-leash parks and in some of the Denver parks where we can capture the dog's playfulness and sometimes a more relaxed atmosphere just amongst the flowers and the trees and the scenery of the mountains in the backdrop. So those are really nice to do.
So obviously in the pre-session consultation, able to find out a little bit about their pet, what the temperament is. Let's say we have an older pet, elderly pet, or a pet that's kind of afraid to come out. You actually have sanctuary sessions. Tell me about that.
Yeah, the idea is to provide the least amount of stress as possible for the animals, so I can take my studio over to the home, and that would be a very light setup, just basically camera and natural light and maybe a little fill light, but the idea is that they're in the safety of their home. So no stairs to deal with, no hassle. And yeah, it's not something I do very often, but it's very meaningful. It's something people need quickly, and so I provide that.
Wonderful. Once the session is completed, obviously they're able to go ahead and put one in the wallet, but definitely that's not where you want to keep it. Tell me about wall portraits you have. We're talking about metallic prints and digital downloads. You pretty much cover everything from an a la carte perspective.
I do. I want to make sure people have a wide range of options because the market today does give us lots of choices, and I don't want to limit people too much. So they get the option of the digital file, but the most favorite for me is the art pieces. They come in a nice range of materials, including canvas, aluminum art, and then there's print wraps and acrylic. So that way when they get their finished image, it's an art piece that they can proudly display in their home or office.
One of the things I love about photography is the fact that I look at it as an investment. I don't look at it as a cost, because an investment is something you pay for one time. It continues to give you satisfaction, enjoyment for years to come. We're talking about heartwarming portraits that really will outlive the pet and even the owners.
That's true. Yeah, and so they're very high quality, and they are. The images have a styling that are very evocative and emotional. So it's definitely has that longevity because it's not a trendy looking kind of an image. It's something that'll last forever.
Wonderful. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. On the website, first of all, you can take a look at a lot of the sessions she provides right there. You can also take a look at her portfolio. We've been teasing you with a bit of her work right there. She has a special section there where she's actually captured some of these sessions on video, which is kind of a neat way to understand how she creates this beautiful treasure for you. Check out the testimonials. You're going to see that these folks are not only moved by these images, but really are just pretty happy they captured this moment in time. Let me ask you, obviously the sessions, outdoor portraits, folks can also find you out on location. This is kind of a way of your giving back to the community, I understand.
Yes, I like to shoot events for local pet rescues and other fundraising activities that go on around Denver. We're very fortunate. We have a very compassionate community. They're doing a lot of work for animals in the area. So I will be out often photographing for on their behalf so that they can spread the message, get more support, raise funds, stuff like that.
This has to be a real economical way for somebody to actually get a portrait with their pet when they catch you out on location like this. Are they able to catch that information on a newsletter that you have out there?
Yeah, I have a nice newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks. I have a blog post that's every week. So I try to, through Facebook and social media, interact with my clients on a regular basis so they're up on offers, special deals, fun events for them and their pets. It's actually a really social community being in the pet world, so I'm grateful for that. It's a nice thing to be able to do.
I asked you earlier which one came first between the two passions. It was hard for you to say because you really have a passion for both. You've now found a way to express that to the public. Is this a rewarding profession for you, and do you enjoy your work?
Very much so, yeah. The design profession that I started with was very helpful. It gave me some skills as far as working with people and presenting my work. But I do really love working with animals, and the emotion, like I said, of touching people's hearts and having that sweet moment where people are in tears because you did something for them that they didn't think was possible. Really makes you excited to get up in the morning. And when I'm editing the images, sometimes people are with me and see me working and they're like, my God, you have this smile on your face. And I'm like, I captured something today that just lit me up, So it's not work. It's just an absolute joy. So.
As a photographer, you're really leaving a legacy of yourself because those prints and images are going to be around a lot longer than me and you.
Yes, it's true.
This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.